How's it going, everyone? It's Milwaukee coming back at you once again, and today we're going to be discussing Green Lantern, New Guardians, Love and Death by Tony Bedard with art by Aaron Kuder. Let's get into it. Green Lantern's New Guardians number 0. Kyle Rayner and Carol Ferris team up and search for Hal after his battle with the Black Hand. Green Lantern's New Guardians number 13. Kyle Rayner trains with Atrocitus to hone the power of rage. Green Lantern's New Guardians number 14. Kyle trains with Indigo and Arkillo, while Carol Ferris checks in with the Star Sapphires. Green Lantern's New Guardians number 15. As a Guardian falls, Kyle masters the power of avarice, and Ganthet threatens to end him. Green Lantern's New Guardians Annual 1. It's a terrible side quest featuring Carol Ferris in the lead, all to set up a terrible series known as Threshold that nobody wants to read. Green Lantern New Guardians number 16. Kyle Rayner finally manages to, learn all those powers, and he sends Ganthet packing. Green Lantern New Guardians, issue 17, Volthoom, shows Kyle Rayner visions of what could be if only Kyle Rayner would stop resisting. Green Lantern New Guardians, number 18, Volthoom, alters the lives of Carol Ferris, Saint Walker, and Lar Fleas in order to feed on their emotions. Green Lantern New Guardians, number 19, Sinestro learns that not even the power of the White Ring could restore Korugar back to life. Green Lantern New Guardians number 20, Kyle Rayner seeks out his long-lost father, whom he saw in visions presented to him by Volthoom. Turns out the guy's alive. So as for my thoughts on this volume, I found it to be too predictable during the Rise of the Third Army part. It was obvious, when Kyle teamed up with Carol Ferris and they were going around from, Lantern Corps to Lantern Corps so Kyle could learn how to harness the powers. It was just, you knew what you were going to get issue to issue, and you were just kind of hoping it would, speed up. And you were hoping that it would all pay off, that like Kyle would get these powers and use them against the Third Army. Only we know that doesn't happen because the Third Army, isn't really a factor. It was just one big stall and a waste of time. Also, over the course of this book, I really realized that I'm not a fan of Carol Ferris as a Star Sapphire. Never really was. She was okay, I guess, pre-New 52. And it looked like she was leaving that part of her life behind in the New 52 until she had to put on the ring to go find Hal. And she was at her most insufferable here, especially in that annual issue. That's the setup for Threshold or whatever. The less said about that, the better. But yeah, not a big Carol Ferris fan. Just can't take her seriously. And she was all over this volume. Also, right, Kyle's quest to get all the powers and become the White Lantern doesn't do anything with it. Yeah, I know he tries to restore Korugar after it's randomly destroyed. If you're reading this book, events are missing because you're not getting the whole story of the events, so you're just getting random chapters. And one of those random chapters, right, Kyle Rayner's randomly fighting Sinestro, and he tries to restore the planet of Korugar, which was destroyed by the First Lantern, and turns out he couldn't do it. So we got a whole volume here of him trying to become White Lantern, and he does nothing with it. What are you going to do? Looking back on the events of this volume, it is nothing but the definition of filler. It's like they had nothing for, Kyle or this character for these major events. So they're like, let's stall. Let's have him go planet to planet, learn these powers. Let's have him, do nothing. And then when the Wrath of the First Lantern event is going on, he's being toyed with by Volthoom, the First Lantern, and then I guess it leads him to finding his father at the end, but who really cares? This is the halfway point for the series. We're at issue 20. It's going to end at issue 40, and I'm pretty sure all new creative teams are coming on for the next volume, so hopefully the book picks up. But I just think they need to get the team back together. Like the first couple of volumes where you had a different member from each Lantern Corps represented and they were all interacting with each other. It was fun. The book used to be fun. I hope it gets back to that, but don't really have high hopes. And I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this is, once again, yet another Lantern book that was butchered by events. If you buy this volume, you're not going to get a complete story. You're better off reading the event books. But if you got to have it for your collection, then you got to do what you got to do. But just know going in that you're probably not going to be satisfied with this one. So, all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give Green Lantern New Guardians Love and Death a 3 out of 5. Doesn't tell a complete story, but what's here, depending on your opinion of it, it might be good enough. Maybe you like the Kyle Rayner going from planet to planet, learning the power story. Maybe you really like his contributions to Wrath of the First Lantern, but you're not going to get a complete story here. Maybe you like the art. Maybe you like Tony Bedard's storytelling, but this is just one for the collectors. So until next time, I'll see you there.